Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Mass Effect. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're chose to join me today with 𝘴𝘺𝘺, who is the original one, not the clone. She I think she's a companion. I didn't look it up in between episodes. But let's find out.
Now that you're free of the Thorian, what are you planning to do next?
If you allow it, I would like to stay here with the colonists. They have suffered greatly, and I played a role in their suffering. I would like to make amends.
You change sides too often. I have no choice. You must die.
So be it. If this is the fate you feel I deserve, then I will not resist.
Well, she was not a companion.
You did it. With the Thorian gone, we can start rebuilding for ourselves again. And we're free of Exogenes' threats. We're back to being just a little nowhere colony.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Commander.
I did the good choices. Most likely was good choices. Like she was actively working for Saren and for the matriarch. Although the matriarch, nah, I don't know. I don't think she made bad choices before she got she messed up with this creature. Yeah, I don't think she was necessarily evil. She might have been, but the game doesn't tell us enough information for me to make a judgment. Hey, Gavin.
Oh, thanks again. That data will be very valuable once I get out of here.
Speak up! Speak up! I can't hear you. Wait a minute. Why? Oh, it's the question mark, or the exclamation mark over here that really doesn't make any sense. Let's see. So let's look at our so this is for a different place. Yes, Artemistel in Noveria. And then over here, oh no, I need to do that. And here in the assignments, that is the Maroon Sea cluster, the Amazon system, and then a bunch of little missions for a bunch of different things. And then this is for, oh right, these are the other ones. Strange's mission. This is for another one. And this is the... yeah. Okay, so we did all the missions here in Pharos. And we also killed their previous leader.
It'll be tough going, but we'll make this a home.
You saved most of the infected. It'll take time to recover from the physical effects, but they'll be all right. Thank you.
I fought so hard, but any thought of my own caused so much pain.
And we got a couple of refugees. And that's it. That's it. Ledra.
I never thought I would be so thrilled to see a soldier. Forgive my previous inaction, but under the Thorian's influence, every thought was examined and filtered.
What will you do now that the fighting is over?
I may stay, try to recover my losses. I can have new supplies delivered within weeks. Perhaps the colony will survive after all.
Thought we were
Goodbye.
gonna get
Well, in future efforts.
Thought we were gonna get a new companion.
Thank you for everything you did.
Thanks, Commander. It's great to be free again.
I'm sure it is. Can I do this? Easy decryption. It is not so easy. While decrypting these logs, you found something suspicious. Several months' worth of human rations were delivered to an uncharted world in the Voyager cluster. The logs aren't clear, but it appears that maybe some have dropped off in the... Okay. Why didn't we do that before? That sounds familiar, that particular line of dialogue. I'm just coming here because I know there were companions around, or there were people. Oh, she's feeling better.
Thank you for everything you tried to do here.
I'm free. Thank you for giving me my mind back.
Oh, was she the one? I don't know. Oh, Ian.
Free. I can't believe I'm free.
Free. Yeah, that works well enough. And there's nobody here. It's an interesting ending. A little bit anticlimactic. The conversation with 𝘴𝘺𝘺 was the most climactic, but I wonder if killing her made this a little bit less climactic.
Finally, that damn thing is out of my head. I can think without pain. And with the power cells you brought, I can get this place up and running again. Thanks, Commander.
Absolutely.
It will take time for things to get back to normal around here.
It will.
Thank you for freeing us.
Very quietly, I did, but I did. How do I leave? Actually, it'd be kind of nice if we could just press N to leave. You know, to go to the Normandy. Maybe that could work from any place. I really think that this is how we got in. Because we had to shoot some geth. Just so we would learn right away that enemies were gonna stop us. And it just, we'd have to fight them. Uh-huh. It has been a while since we were here in the Normandy. I wonder if I need to talk to everybody again. In there, I mean.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress.
Are you okay, Commander? You look a little pale.
It's that damn cipher. That Asari messed you up good. And for what? We still don't know where to find the stupid conduit. What a waste.
She said it could take a while. I needed the cipher. It's going to lead us to the conduit. I'm just not sure how yet.
We still have another lead, Commander. That Asari scientist in the Artemis Tau cluster, the Matriarch's daughter. She's an expert on the Protheans. Maybe she knows something.
Don't worry. We'll deal with her soon enough. Crew dismissed.
I've sent off the Pharos report, Commander. You want me to patch you through to the Council?
Patch him through, Joker.
Setting up the link now, Commander.
Commander, ExoGeni should have told us about the Thorian. It would have made your job much easier.
You might have been able to capture it for study instead of destroying it.
The only reason to study a creature like that is to figure out how to kill it.
Yes, kill it. That's how you humans usually deal with things you don't understand.
Goodbye, Counselor.
Oh, lost the connection, ma'am. Sorry.
I don't know who turned the thing off. It feels like it was Joker. And he had a little of a joke moment there, saying, well, it's my mistake, but...
Yes, Commander?
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
So, no new things. What is this? Point defense systems. Oh, we got new codex stuff. It wasn't there before, was it? Maybe it was, and I just didn't see it. Let's have a chat with... Oh, heat load monitor. Did you see it? Yeah. So we're getting more codex stuff. Look at that, another one. Yeah, we're gonna read the codexes and codex entries later, but oh, we can look outside a gunnery station. Oh, dang it. Joker.
Hey, Commander, next time we touch down, let's try not to park the ship in a colony of mutant zombies. Just thinking out loud here.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
Mm-hmm. So... that's one line after the planet. That's good enough. I think that's fine, especially for Joker in specific. But I am still gonna visit. I'm still getting the feel for the game and trying to understand who talks to me and who doesn't. So I'm gonna visit some people. So the doctor over here.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
So the doctor doesn't say anything. So if Kaden doesn't say anything, then I'm not even going down to talk to Sadi. What's her name? I keep forgetting.
Commander, do you have a minute?
Uh-huh.
I always make time for my officers.
Off the record, I think there's something wrong here. This Saren is trading people to aliens for some kind of lost knowledge, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. It's funny, we finally get out here, and the final frontier was already settled. And the residents don't even seem impressed by the view. Or the dangers.
Well, well. You're a romantic. Did you sign on for the dream, Malenko? Secure a man's future in space?
Yeah, I read a lot of those books when I was a kid, where the hero goes to space to prove himself worthy of a woman he loves, or, you know, for justice. Maybe I was a romantic in the beginning, but I thought about it after brain camp. Biotic acclimation and temperance training. I'm not looking for the dream. I just want to do some good. See what's out here. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
I heard all about that. How companies would arrange accidents to expose people to element 0.
There was never any proof of that. It's not what happened in my case, anyway. My mother was downwind of a transport crash. It was before there were human biotics, a little after the discovery of the Martian ruins. It only gets iffy around 63 when Kinetics was running out of first-gen subjects. Until then, they'd relied on accidentals. A bunch of guys in suits show up at your door after school, and next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero.
Jump Zero's a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. Anyway, this was supposed to be a casual debrief, not a bull session about stuff that happened years ago.
I wanted to get to know you a little better, that's all. Thanks for the talk, Kaidan.
Well, you're welcome, ma'am. You, make a habit of getting this personal with everyone?
I didn't say I did this for the whole crew. We should talk again.
I'll need some time to process that, Commander. But, yeah, I'd like that.
Now let's do the same for the rest of the crew. I mean, wait a minute.
Anything you need, Commander?
What's your opinion on the last mission?
I'm glad there aren't many aliens like the Thorian. I don't think my stomach could take it. One of my cousins has an agribusiness. I was thinking of calling him. Maybe he can get some shipments into Pharaohs. I mean, now that they're cut off from the company.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
We'll talk later, Kaidan.
I'd like that.
I like that, he says. He's so quiet, though. That's a bit of a shame. But, I will be mindful of that. I can't control the volume of the game. Or of the recording, rather. I would have to post-process this, and I don't do that. So that's how the video turns out. But I can't control it, because this game steals control of the volume keys on my keyboard, which is the way... Well, it's the way I boost the volume, not the way I lower it, because I can lower it. But boosting it needs to be done with the volume keys on my keyboard. And if you play games, old games in particular... on a laptop, or if you, because laptops control all through software keys, or which I don't, by the way, I don't play them on a laptop, but still, if you have one of those headphones that controls the Windows volume with the little things, or if you have an external sound card that does the same thing, or if you have a keyboard that has volume control keys, and not just volume control keys, media control keys as well, and if you play games that are a little bit older, then you know the pain. You know the pain of not being able to lower your volume because the game doesn't let you. And it sucks. It absolutely sucks, and it's one of the reasons why I always steer away of headphones, in specific, but also speakers and external sound cards that control the volume not through hardware, but rather through keys that change the Windows volume. That's always bad. Always bad. What happened here? Oh, it's another codex thing. Okay, everything should be fine then. because there was an engine.
Something I can do for you, Commander.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, aye, Commander.
An engine thingy. Tally!
Oh, hello, Shepard.
Are you okay?
I don't know. Your ship is amazing, and your crew's been really great to me. Especially your chief engineer. But I just sort of feel out of place. The Normandy runs so smooth it feels like we're not even moving. And the engines are so quiet. How do you sleep at night?
The silence wakes you up?
Back on the flotilla, the last thing you want to hear is silence. It means an engine's died or an air filter shut down. I guess you don't have to worry about that here. But old habits die hard. But it's more than just the silence. This ship feels so empty. It's like half the crew is missing. Back home, I couldn't wait to go on my pilgrimage. I couldn't wait to get away from the crowds. Now that I'm out here, I kind of miss them.
Sometimes we don't appreciate what we have till it's gone.
That's true. I'm starting to wonder if that's what the pilgrimage is really about. It's given me a whole new perspective on my people and our culture. You know, there's always a few who go on their pilgrimages and never return. I always assumed something bad happened to them. But maybe they just wanted a different life.
You do plan to return to the migrant fleet, right?
I could never abandon my people, Shepard. I will go back eventually. But we have to stop Saren first. Otherwise, I might not have a home to go back to.
I should go.
See you later. Hey, Shepard. You need something?
I should go.
See you later.
It's interesting that Shepard said the silence wakes you up, because that's a leading question. It's written by this. It's clearly written by the same obviously it is, but it's still clearly written by the same person who wrote the answer to the question, which it's the biggest crime when you're writing dialogue, is that, you know, to make it feel as if both characters were written by the same person, which obviously they were, as I say, but like they shouldn't feel like that. The thing is, if she can't sleep because of the silence, it's not because the silence wakes her up. That's like, there's a lot of people who have that experience living in cities or just living next to a road, let alone in big cities. But if you fall asleep next to a road that has cars and going by and trucks and whatnot, then you learn to go to sleep with the sound. And then what happens is, if you go and sleep in the countryside where there's no cars and there's no bad sound, well, not bad sounds, but there's no sound going on outside, then you have trouble falling asleep because it's so quiet. It's not you get woken up by the silence. You have trouble falling asleep. It's a different thing, and that is what Shepard should definitely have asked, is you can't sleep because it's quiet. But if she had asked that, obviously the answer wouldn't be quite the same as it is. It's an interesting answer, though, because that's why it's a sort of egregious that it's blatant that it's written by the same person. But the answer is really interesting, and that's why, when you have an answer that is interesting, when you think up of a thing that is interesting to write, then you sort of have to make some shortcuts and make these leading questions rather. The answer obviously being that while she sleeps, she's on the lookout for silence so that she can help out, and of course that's a learned behavior, and it's great. It's pretty awesome.
Looking for supplies?
Nah.
Not right now, thanks.
No problem. Keep checking back.
Garrus!
Commander, how are you?
Why did you want to be a C-Sec officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it too. He was C-Sec, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a C-Sec man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren.
No way.
He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
No, wait, this is the character that was earlier on saying that laws, it's bad. It's bad. He's the character that was saying that laws or rules just made it, were against him, or not against him, but basically kept him from doing his job. I think it's the way he said it. And I said, your job is to follow the rules, not to do other things that the rules are standing against. And at least that's my understanding of policing, or what policing should be. Obviously, it depends on the country, obviously, but like what he was advocating for is for police to be the law itself, which is bad. It's a bad thing. It's called what is it called? Police state. Yeah, that's the word. Because the law becomes law enforcement, which is tyranny. But then he says that his father. Well, it doesn't. The thing is, it paints him as a fundamentally different person, or well, not a different person, but specifically a person with different views from his father, because his father didn't. I mean, he just said his father said either do them right or don't do them at all, which is how you act when you think that your job is to follow the law or to follow the rules in this case, and doing things right, or not doing them at all is the important thing. So his father didn't think at all that the rules were there to prevent him from doing his job. And it just paints them as two different characters, which I don't think is the intention here of the game. And if that isn't the intention of the game, then what the game is saying is that doing things right or don't do them at all, the right way of doing is not following the rules. That is the right way of doing. But that's subtext, and the game didn't take that full on, but anyway.
You were asked to be a Spectre.
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
Again, the accountability we can just skip, because in this case it actually makes sense for him to say that it's no accountability, because they're accountable, but just not to him. But again, it definitely paints his father as the way I was saying.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, C-Sec's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
You're a quick learner, Garrus. We'll beat him at his own game. It's the only way to stop someone like him.
I'm right behind you, Commander.
You're right in front of me.
Commander, good to see you.
I don't know why he's so quiet. A lot of the dialogues here are very quiet. I hope this is listenable. Ashley.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was hoping to get a minute of your time. Off the record.
I keep an open door policy. If you have any concerns, lay them on me.
All right. I know things are different aboard the Normandy, but I'm concerned about the aliens, Vicarian and Rex. With all due respect, Commander, should they have full access to the ship?
I smell a red herring here. She said it so blatantly, I'm concerned about the aliens. And she also says, I know this is different and all, which implies that there is widespread racism, speciesism in this case, but either way, it works as an analogy, in the rest of the society, especially particularly human society, so probably in the Alliance in this case. But I feel that it's a red herring because of the way she phrased it, because it's way too blatant. And she didn't come across as anti-alien before. So I'm gonna go with this one because I think I'm reading into what, I'm understanding where she's coming from. If I'm right, obviously I might be wrong.
They may not serve the Alliance, Chief, but they're allies, at least as far as Saren goes.
This is the most advanced ship in the Alliance Navy. I don't think we should give them free rein to poke around the vital systems. Engines, sensors, weapons.
Let's go with this one.
You don't trust the Alliance's allies?
I'm not sure I'd call the Council races allies. We, humanity, I mean, have to learn to rely on ourselves.
Yeah, so she's coming in from an anti-alien perspective. Interesting that we had that. That's interesting that we had the option of choosing because they're not part of the Alliance.
How do you get from relying on ourselves to mistreating our allies?
I don't mean we should mistreat them, Commander. I just think we should be prepared to go it without them. As noble as the Council members seem now, if their backs are against the wall, they'll abandon us.
Yeah, the Council's had a grudge against us since the First Contact War.
I don't think it's a grudge. I think it's... Look, if you're fighting a bear and the only way for you to survive is to sick your dog on it and run, you'll do it. As much as you love your dog, it isn't human. It's not racism, not really.
It's speciesism.
Members of their species will always be more important to them than humans are.
Yeah, but it's speciesism, and it's analogous. And it's part of... Well, it's not the same... It's not the same problem, but it is part of a... Yeah, well, in this case, it is definitely racism. Because it's space aliens. So, you know, it works the same. But in real life, speciesism and racism do have similar... it's not modus operandi, that's not the word, but they do have similar systems. Yeah, systems is the correct term. The systems that enforce racism and the systems that enforce speciesism are similar in the way they work in real life. But more importantly, the fight against speciesism and the... Speciesism is complicated because the way it works is, you know, the way it is reflected is actually grounded in our... Or the way it's reflected, what am I saying? The thing is, there's nothing natural about racism, which is one of the reasons about... it's one of the reasons why... what I was saying before about... you know, now you have space racism and you have to explain it, what, you know, because the game was saying, oh, of course you don't trust the races and whatnot, and I was saying that it's needless to create a fantasy setting like this and just add racism because there's nothing natural about racism. But the thing is, there is something natural about speciesism, because of the way we're genetically engineered. We're genetically engineered to rely on ourselves and on each other, but you know, that's just how we work. But we're genetically engineered as well to be suspicious of creatures of that are different types of us. So while racism is not natural, it's a cultural thing. It's learned. It's a learned behavior. Speciesism is not. You need to learn. You need to unlearn it. Well, you also need to unlearn racism once you learn it. But the thing is, speciesism is different. So when she says, see, it's funny that she says not really, because it's sort of leading the question. It's actually that's a specific argumentative tactic to say it like that. And I don't know. I'm not learned enough to know which argumentative tactic, but that is a specific thing that people do. Is the saying not really? It's not that it's not true. It is not really racism, but it is also pre-dismissing arguments of this that work similarly. Speciesism and racism, in this particular case, in the case of Mass Effect, are the same, really the same, and we can disregard the differentiations, where in real life we can't disregard the differentiations. So yeah, and the reason why we can in this game disregard the differentiations is because we're dealing with an artificial story, for one, and you know, if we were like, if this was a realistic simulation of what different, and it isn't, it's not trying to be a realistic simulation of what different alien races would, how they would interact with each other. It's no, this game is a space opera. It's like Star Wars or like Star Trek or any of the mainstream sort of space type serialized. It doesn't have to be serialized, but it's space type fiction. It's not hard science fiction. It's trying to tell a story that we can connect with, and it's not trying to concern itself with the technicalities that would necessarily arise from the interaction between different species. And one of those technicalities has to do with the way you trust and the way you treat other species. Now imagine imagine this happens in real life at a part of human history where we have surpassed speciesism. And when I say surpassed speciesism, I'm talking about animal rights, but also the way you treat, plants and the planet and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that we do wrong that are speciesed, like eating animals, really. And I say this, I'm not a vegan myself, but well, it's not. It doesn't mean, just because I eat animals doesn't mean that I can't acknowledge that it is part of the systems that exist that are speciesed. So imagine we surpass all that in humans, and we're just at one with nature, and 3 centuries in the future, or whatever this game would take place, and all of a sudden there's aliens in space. That speciesism is immediately arisen again, because it's a natural thing. It's not a learned thing. And that speciesism would come from things as simple as the colors that we see, that I was talking about before. It's very complicated to communicate with something that is so alien as to not even maybe have the same senses as we have, in the sense of that we have the sense of smell that is analogous to a lot of animals, or the sense of sight that is analogous to a lot of animals, and that's why the questions like how do we communicate with aliens? That's why that type of questions is so interesting. I don't remember. I think it's Voyager 1. I actually have a little plaque from the disc that was sent in Voyager 1. It's an extra system. It goes to outside of the solar system. It's a probe. I think it is Voyager 1, I'm not actually sure. But it was sent with a disc that said that it's basically meant to show that we are here as humans. And if you look it up, it's and I'm sorry if it isn't Voyager 1, because if you look it up, then it's not going to be Voyager 1. And if it isn't Voyager 1, then it's not going to be the one I'm talking about. But the thing is, that is very interesting, and that's why movies like Arrival have an interesting premise. Now, Arrival is a letdown because it doesn't go deep enough into these questions, and it really just at the end of the day comes across as a soap opera. But in a movie, that's not how it works. But anyway, it comes across as just like a dramatic thing, and it's not very interesting. But I didn't like it anyway. But I find these questions very interesting. The thing is, these questions are erased. These questions of how difficult it is to deal with aliens are erased in a story like this, because this story isn't about that. And if it had that sort of questions, then it would necessarily be about that, because it's such an overwhelming and important central question to dealing with aliens that our story about Mass Effect wouldn't be about the Saren that's a mean person. We'd be about what does it mean to be mean? Is aggressiveness, what is evil even? There's so many fundamental questions that you need to relativize, because we're not dealing with humans. We're just not dealing with even animals from this planet. So it's, anyway, the point is, yes, it is racism, really racism, and it's so obvious that it is, that what she's saying here is that she's implying an alliance because of their race, which is a not like it's a relatively common type of racism in real life. It happens, for example, a lot to Jewish people, implying alliance to or assuming alliance to Israel. I think, yes, assuming alliance just because they're Jewish, and that's a pretty common attack on Jewish people. And the Nazis did that as well, and grounded a lot of the hatred and the genocide that they did on Jewish people, as well as other people. The Holocaust killed a lot of Romani people as well, and disabled people, LGBT community, and yeah. And of course, communists and socialists, the Holocaust was a lot more than the Jewish people, but one of the arguments against the Jewish people was precisely that you couldn't trust them, because they were allied to their Israel. Was it a thing? No, it wasn't. Was Israel a country at the time? But definitely was a nation, though. But because, countries and nations. Anyway, the thing is, all the arguments that I said, that they stand by for themselves. Like, I stand by those arguments. But now that I raise this thing that I just said about Jewish people and the alliance that is racist to assume, you can immediately see the parallel here, and then it's doubly racist because it also stands for an example that exists in real life. So it's on a literal level, it is racism, but also on a metatextual level, it is racism. Let's go with this one. So I've heard it before.
You sound like one of those Terra Firma party pamphlets, Chief.
Terra Firma
pamphlets.
Was a pack of jackals. The founders had ideals. These days they just play off xenophobia and bigotry. I hope my reasons are more rational. My father, grandfather, great-grandmother, they all picked up a rifle and swore the oath of service. I guess we just tend to think of Earth's interests as our own.
It's interesting because there's also a lot of parallels between what she just said. Oh, the originals had ideals, and disregarding the new ones, no true Scotsman type of arguments, and also invoking rationality, which is one of the things that racism requires of people, because it's an irrational thing, but people need to rationalize it, otherwise they can't, lie to themselves. If you don't rationalize racism, you just stop being racist. But the racism often comes in packages that are rationalized. Also, our voice actress, she said pamphlets? My God. I know there's a lot of people that say pamphlets, but it is pamphlets. It's got a PH. It's f. It's f. Please learn how to say that word. Who is the audio editor over here? Well, certainly nobody as pedantic as I am. I would make an amazing audio editor. That's not the word. Audio producer? The people that listen to the voice actors record this stuff. That's what I would do. I would be like, that's pamphlet. I'm not even a native speaker, and I'm correcting you on that. Although sometimes I correct on things that are incorrect. Like, for example, compatriot. I have learned that in English it doesn't mean of the same nation. It means just companion. Let's go with this one.
I expect you to keep your family politics to yourself, Chief. This mission will be difficult enough without you picking fights with aliens.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
I'm not sure if it is possible to, it's a codex entry there. I'm not sure if it is possible to change her from she's clearly a bigot. Like, she even has an associated, group. It's just not, like, it's so, like, you can be a bigot and just be because you have bad ideas. But that's one type of bigotry. When you're a bigot because you come from a bigoted place, as in real life place, and or from a bigoted organization or something, that's so much more difficult for you to stop being a bigot, because the rationalization is a lot stronger, and you have to, like, when you're a part of a group who is a group of bigots, you deal with the bigotry face on, and that's why you get people like David Duke, the Grand Wizard of the KKK, saying that he's not a racist. Never forget this. When you're thinking about people who say, oh, I'm not a racist, or the questions about, are they really a racist? It doesn't matter if people think of themselves as racist. David Duke himself doesn't think of himself as racist. And I don't doubt him when he says that he doesn't think of himself as racist, because I understand what racism is. Racism isn't about what goes in your heart of souls. It is about the results of your actions. It's about the systems that you exist in, and the systems that you uphold. And when it comes to space aliens and Mass Effect, it's so much simpler than in real life. So she is doubly more a bigot than she would be in real life, because in real life there's a bunch of nuance. In this game there isn't. In this game there is a story that is very simple, because there's only so many words, and you can't ask more than the game lets you ask. So it's a relatively simple story in comparison to real life. And on the top of that, there is what the writers wanted to write her as. So you can sort of read into what she says, as yeah, she is a bigot, and she is written to be a bigot. It's just maybe I'm just deconstructing her arguments a little bit, maybe more than the game wants us to. So I do wonder if I am gonna be able to bring her back. Anyway, well, that's gonna be that for today. I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Mass Effect. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.